Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the HydraPak Breakaway Plus bottle filter system. As a cyclist, you sometimes have to settle for tap water or public water sources that can be a little bit questionable. HydraPak's new Breakaway Plus bottle filter system offers a built-in filter that lets you clean water as you drink it and provide additional peace of mind, which is really important when you're on the road and don't have a lot of options. As you can see, packaging-wise, very simple. You have this nice little case with all the branding and specs on there for the bottle and the actual filter. You might notice this is also the Breakaway, which is very similar to the Polar Breakaway, and that's because HydraPak actually owns the Polar brand. You can see there's a inner sleeve, so more of a display case. We have both the 20 and 30 ounce variations, so very similar. They're just a little bit taller in design, and they both have that little backing piece. Once you open that up, you can see you have more graphics of the bottle and additional specs of how to use it. We'll go ahead and open this up and we'll go over the specs. Retail price on these bottles ranges from $46 for the smaller 20 ounce or 600 milliliter variation up to $48, so very negligible price difference for the 30 ounce 880 milliliter option. So you get quite a bit more capacity with the larger one, but might not fit all bike frames, especially if you have a smaller one. These have integrated cap filters, which are rated for up to 1,500 liters of water. So it should last a fair amount of time. And they're also BPA and PVC free, so you can drink out of these without worrying. They have locking nozzles, and then they're also compatible with other Polar bottles. So the thread cap design on this can be interchanged with the insulated and other graphic options that Polar offers. As far as what comes with it, obviously you just have the basic cardboard box. You have the mud guard pre-installed, so it's just a little removable cap, which is great if you do a lot of mountain biking or you're traveling with the bottles. If I open this up, you can see there's a protective sleeve over the filter itself. And then there is a little backflow nozzle here, along with a little owner's guide, which explains how to first set up the bottle and how to clean it properly. Now let's take a look at the weight of the bottles. So first starting with the 20 ounce version, that comes in at 110 grams. Then if we put the 30 ounce version, that one's 122. Visually, the HydraPak Breakaway Plus mimics the shape of the Polar Breakaway bottles with a uniform cylindrical shape and a very pronounced grip ring right in the middle. This grip ring matches your water bottle cage, which means this will hold there securely. Then you have that standard 74 millimeter diameter, which means this should work with just about any bike setup. Because there is additional filter cap though, you can see it's a little bit taller. So comparing our 30 ounce Polar Breakaway with this one, it's about ½ an inch, so on the top end, you gain a little bit of height, but it's actually not that much despite the size of that filter. HydraPak currently only offers this in two size options. You have the 20 and 30 ounce variation, so you can see it 30 ounce quite a bit taller. Same grip ring, same design. Surprisingly, there's only $2 price difference between these, so it's a very negligible price as most of the technology is the cap itself. There is no insulated or other graphic options. You just have this transparent design with this cool grid design on the bottom. It's also a little bit textured, so very easy to hold. And the whole thing is this flexible rubber material, so nice and soft to the touch and lets you squeeze the water out. The cool thing about these bottles is the fact that this cap is interchangeable with other Polar bottles. So if you want some more graphic options or even an insulated variation, you just twist off the cap and install it on the Polar bottles as they have the same thread pitch on here. One of the key features of this bottle though, obviously, is that filter system. So it's designed to filter water as you drink it. The dirty water would be in the inside, and then as you drink it, it would be pulled through the filter. You can see the filter and cap are actually integrated in one unit. You have this little mud guard as well. So a very simple design we've seen with CamelBak and other brands. And if you don't want it, you simply pull it off, so very easy to take off. The filter and cap are a one-piece design. So when it comes time to replace the actual filter, you do need to replace the entire thing. There are no current replacements on HydraPak's website, so you would have to just purchase the entire bottle again. This filter is very similar to some of the HydraPak's other offerings. So it's a very compact and lightweight filter that lets you actually drink it and filter it at the same time. You can see the filter is integrated into the cap, so it attaches on the inside. Has these little slits to filter the water through. And then the cool thing about this top is you can see it's a little bit taller than the traditional cap with these nice grip rings. And then you have a little nozzle on the top. It's a twist lock design, so when you rotate all the way, it goes flat. When you open it, you can see that opens up a little gap here, and that has a corresponding opening there. So it's not a jet valve, instead it's kind of this twist lock design, but still quite wide, so it should provide nice, fast water flow. It's a pretty slick design. The filter itself is rated for about 1,500 liters, or about a year use. And then once that is over, you want to replace this. This is not really a full water cleansing filter. It's designed for 99% E. coli and parasitic cysts, but not something you want to put in salt water or water runoff, sewage runoff, or anything really dirty. It's really designed for fairly clean water that you just want to make sure it's fully clean. So if you have a tap water source or a clean creek, you could use this to ensure you just get any of the basic parasites or other bad things of the water out before you drink it. And again, it's a filter on demand design, so it's not filtering the water as it sits there. It's only when you drink it and you pull the water out. To clean this filter, you don't want to scrub this, you don't want to push water here as it will push the contaminants inside it. So that's why they do include that little nozzle. So you want to attach a nozzle here and then use that backflow, so you push water through here and then out of the filter to ensure everything's clean. Then obviously, as with any bottle, you just want to clean the inside. Cleaning this is, again, a little bit more difficult though, as you don't have full access to everything. You can only kind of scrub the inside and then the little opening here. Otherwise, everything is really integrated, so you can't take these apart or access the interior of this cap. Now let's take a look at the bottle in action. As you can see, the bottle itself just fits in a standard bottle cage. And with the high flow nozzle, it really just feels like a normal bottle. You don't even realize you're filtering the water as you drink it. So they've done a good job there. The grip ring is nice and pronounced, and it's very easy to drink from. The twist cap is a little bit harder to use, especially with one hand. But when you're cycling, you just generally leave it open. And the mud guard is optional, so if you're doing more dirt biking or any kind of gravel cycling, you might want to leave that on, while road cycling, it's nicer just to have it off. Otherwise, the bottle's a nice kind of compromise between the standard breakaway and then filtering. It obviously doesn't make sense for every use because you can't use any drink mixes, and the one-piece cap design is a little bit more cumbersome to clean. Here you can see the water flow rate too. It's pretty nice, so again, you'll barely notice. It's a nice squeezable bottle and you get a high flow through it. That makes you forget there's even a filter. So it's a cool idea, especially if you're doing long rides and you don't know where you're filling up your water. As you can see here, we have a nice comparison between the standard Polar Breakaway bottles and the Breakaway Plus. We have both the 20 and 30 ounce here for the filtered options, and then the Polar non-insulated and then the insulated variation. You can see this is the 30 ounce non-insulated one, and you do actually gain about ½ inch of height. So if you put these side by side, you can see the cap on this is a little bit taller. And it's actually pretty surprising. You would think the filter actually takes up more water capacity, but it's actually quite close. They just made the cap a little bit taller and offset that additional water loss from the filter. So very similar. So if you already are using one of the standard 30 ounce ones, this one should fit, but it might just be a little bit tighter. There's also the insulated bottles. So you can see this is actually a 24 ounce insulated variation, which is almost the same size as a 30 ounce non-insulated. So when you get the insulated ones, it actually has a double wall design, so it definitely eats into the capacity of the bottle. Despite the new filter option and the redesigned cap, you can see they're very similar. They both have the grip ring in the middle, the smooth shape on the bottom, and the nice flexible rubber design. The big difference here obviously is with the cap. And what's really cool about this is because HydraPak owns Polar, the cap is actually compatible with all the bottles from Polar after 2007. So any modern bottle should work. So you can see if I swap the cap out here, they're nearly identical, same thread pattern. So that means I can actually swap this into a standard bottle. And that's really convenient because right now you can't actually get any other designs with the Breakaway Plus. So with this, you can just grab any of Polar's graphic designs or insulated bottles and put that little filter on there. So you can see it just threads on. It is definitely a little bit taller. So the standard cap has this nice low profile design. This one also is a push-pull design. And then you can see on the inside, there's actually a little nozzle in there. So it's a jet nozzle. When you apply a little bit of pressure, it opens up. You don't have that feature here with the new filter style cap. It's a little bit different. So you can see there's an opening, but the whole top lifts up and down and opens up a gap between there. So a little bit different, but you get very similar functionality, and they're very similarly sized as well. Cleaning this is also a little bit more difficult. So obviously to get in here, you can't remove the filter and you can't really remove the cap and get in there. With the old one, non-filter design, you can just pull this open and you can really get in and clean everything. But with the filter design, obviously you're gonna have to use that backflow nozzle to clean it, and then you can just really scrub around here. So definitely a little bit more limiting, but it is one of the sacrifices of adding the filter. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the HydraPak Breakaway Plus bottles. What I like about them, they have a compact design despite the built-in filter. They're only slightly taller than the standard bottles. They also have great flow from the nozzle, so you barely notice that the filter is there. Also, we're surprised to find that the cap is compatible with other Breakaway bottles. So even though this bottle only comes in one design and a non-insulated one, you can easily swap it over to other bottles. The other con here is the fact that it is a one-piece cap and filter, and that means you have to replace essentially the whole bottle because they don't sell the cap and filter currently. So you'd have to purchase the whole thing, swap it over, which seems kind of wasteful. Taking everything into account would give the bottle an 8.2 out of 10. It gives you water filtering on the go. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.